How far do you have to have slipped away from rationality, common sense, good old sanity, and just bottom line maturity to beg lying politicians to protect you when you could take steps to protect yourself? What you're about to see is not a room full of children, it's not a Saturday Night Live skit, and it's not Comedy Central. Leave it to the corporate media dolts at MSLSD to perpetuate the dehumanization of individuals as they continue to ramp up their calls for the universal theft of private property, otherwise known as gun confiscation. Sorry, people control. Dang, I meant gun control. In this recent MSNBC video entitled, "Watch Teacher Confront Republican Senator on Gun Control," Ari Melber plays his part in further fomenting the vilification of gun owners as he promotes the silly idea that politicians must do something, anything to protect little old helpless us. Under the video we read, a local school teacher confronted an Iowa senator at a recent town hall, sharing her emotional experience of preparing for an active shooter in her back-to-school training. Senator Ernst responded by talking about mental health when she was met by chants from the crowd to do something. Teacher Ellie Holland joined the beat and urged for people to consider a child's right to not have to worry about being a victim of gun violence.
Polls show voters want action on gun reform. Lawmakers feeling increasing pressure during what is right now their August recess. Senator Joni Ernst, a Republican from Iowa, held a town hall just this week, and a local teacher shared an important and emotional experience about back-to-school training.
Before we get further into this, did you catch what he said? Polls show voters want action on gun reform. First of all, those polls are highly suspect. These are probably the same polls that they tell us indicate that 90% of Americans want universal background checks. And if you haven't noticed lately, they're gradually changing the euphemism gun control, which is really people control, to gun reform or gun safety legislation. It's very important that they do this because they want to mask the fact that their objective is to exert more control over the masses. It's not about safety. If it was, they'd be far more concerned with the 480,000 people who die every year from cigarette smoking, or the 500,000 people who die every year through medical malpractice, or the 71,000 who die each year from government-approved pharmaceuticals. Now, here's the part in the town hall that you'll think is an audition for a Comedy Central skit.
As part of my teacher training this past week, I was asked to listen to popping sounds and then determine if they were gunshots or not. I was then asked to be trained to man a family reunification center, to provide counseling to parents seeking their children following a catastrophic event. So my question for you today, Senator, is when can I plan to get back to trainings that simply teach children to read and write?
The sad fact is that we live in a dangerous world with evil people. And you can count on it getting even more dangerous and evil as government-protected Big Pharma continues to pump people full of mind-altering, FDA-approved pharmaceuticals. And in this climate of danger, for an adult to depend on someone else for their safety is about as insane a notion as you could possibly imagine, especially when that someone else is a lying politician. How checked in and committed to the cult of personality do you have to be to wait for a politician or a cop to protect you without taking your own protection and the protection of the kids under your care into your own hands? But you ain't seen nothing yet.
You can see the strong reception there. Now, Ernst responded by talking about mental health, but those constituents, including those people who clapped at the end there, they wanted more.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and...
Now, did you hear that? Talk is over. We need you to protect us. Do something. It's like we can't do anything for ourselves. We're incapable of acting like adults with a basic will to live so that we can tip the scales in our favor should a horrible incident go down. We want to put our personal safety into the hands of politicians who are known liars and law enforcement agents who arrive too late to help us. It's almost like this is a room full of children asking the adults in the room to shield them from the bad things in life. It's truly pitiful.
Move on, but we are going to look and have a discussion about all of these items that are being brought up today. So I appreciate your concern, but we have had many decisions.
Oh my God, she's not doing anything. We can't help ourselves. We can't empower ourselves. We're willing to give up our power to people we don't trust, who don't even have the ability to provide the safety we crave. And teleprompter reading Ari here won't call this out for the lunacy it clearly is.
Congress is not in session, but you can see people demanding they get back to work on this issue, and none of this is happening in a vacuum.
By the way, let's not kid ourselves here. These phrases, demanding that Congress get back to work on this issue, and these calls for do something, what they're really calling for is that peaceful, responsible gun owners be criminalized and have their weapons, that's their property, stolen from them. Do something is a call for mass immorality because it's a call for mass theft. And that's what gun confiscation is, and that's what they're trying to do when they ban the scary black AR-15 assault-style rifle. Period. Now Ari interviews the teacher who stood up at the town hall and a pro-gun grabber columnist. They banter back and forth, but there's something I thought about these teachers of these kids in these classrooms in America. The teachers who are begging their politicians to please do something to keep them safe are, by their actions, teaching these kids something far more potent than their words ever could. Kids who look up to these teachers are processing all this information and are being hit with the idea that when they grow up, what they have to look forward to is a state of helplessness and victimhood. Through their actions, these teachers who don't take personal protection into their own hands are raising a generation who will turn to the government for their protection and pretty much everything else. Listen to this columnist.
Well, first of all, Ari, we live at a time in this country where we keep saying, who's going to stand up and represent the country that we still aspire to be? And to stand up and ask that question the other night, that's the America that we still want to be. Those people in that hall were tired of listening to Joni Ernst get rolled by the NRA and just spout NRA talking points.
It's notable that this guy and mainstream media calls plain old truth NRA talking points. Like that crazy idea that a good guy with a gun stops a bad guy with a gun. Doesn't matter who says that. It's just true. If it wasn't true, then people wouldn't call the cops when shootings take place. Freaked out people are calling people they perceive to be good guys with guns to take care of the threat.
And they called BS on her in the state of Iowa, and I actually thought it was kind of thrilling. Yes, no one would dispute that mental health is an issue in this conversation, but I always go back to a line the great Pete Hamill once used, Ari. How many home runs did Babe Ruth hit without a bat? So for them to want to talk about everything except guns, for a failing organization like the NRA, someday these politicians who have gotten rolled by the NRA are going to wonder just to whom they sold their souls. I thought the sound and that scene the other night was tremendous in Iowa.
And I agree. It was tremendous. Tremendously insane. This using the NRA as a straw man that anyone on the pro-gun side or the anti-gun side can easily knock down is quite the insidious tactic to trample on the rights of gun owners. And all because a few pharmaceutically fueled lunatics decided to use guns to commit crimes. It's as asinine as it is evil. Then Mr. Columnist says this.
Ari, the Second Amendment has been pimped out.
The Second Amendment has been pimped out
by the leadership of the NRA, not in defense of reasonable gun owners in this country, but in the name of profits for gun manufacturers. And I like to believe that people are starting to figure that out. Any opposition to an assault weapons ban or background checks is boneheaded.
Any opposition to an assault weapons ban or background checks is boneheaded.
Translation: any opposition to infringement and the criminalization of peaceful people and the confiscation or theft of their property is boneheaded. Guys, that's what they're really saying. And they go further by saying you are the crazy one for not consenting to their evil. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the Google Thought Police in the comments section below. If you guys enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, and share it with everybody you know. Also, check out over 100 hard-hitting designs in the shirt store, and if you want to support more content, hit me up on Patreon or PayPal. All those links will be in the description and in the pinned comment. I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban video.